Welcome to the Land of House channel. I'm Seth. Today I'm taking a look at the new lineup of Jackery power stations. Over here we have the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2, and on this side we have the new 240V. These power stations have lots of great features and they may be just right for you and your electrical needs. So let's take a close-up look at these and see their functions, their features, and pick which one may be right for your needs. First of all, the shipping was very quick and had a great packaging, easy experience to open the boxes, and also no damage whatsoever due to that. So very thankful to have a great shipping experience. Let's first start off with the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2, taking a close-up look at its features. In the box, you get the Explorer 1000 V2. You have a power cable for AC charging, and you also have a great user manual with lots of good information. Starting with the front of the unit, there is a power button, which I can press right there to turn on. A green light will indicate that the power has been turned on. It was shipped at 30% on the lithium iron phosphate battery. I have a light over here. I can press that once to turn it on, press it again, a little bit brighter, press it one more time, the SOS feature, and the third press will turn that off. Over here we have a DC 12 volt 10 amp, which can basically use a cigarette lighter type adapter to power a device. And over here we've got a USB type C 30 watt, 100 watt, and then a USB A at 18 watts down here. If I want to turn on these DC ports, I press the DC button once right there. It will turn those on. And over here I have 3 of these AC receptacles. If I want to turn those on, I press this button right here, and that will turn on the AC inverter. Now this unit has a 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter inside with a 3000 watt surge. So we should be able to run things such as a refrigerator, an angle grinder, and maybe even a cook plate. So we will take a look at that power output here in just a moment. I'm going to turn these off real quick. Turn the power off by pressing and holding the power button until the light turns off. On the top there is a great carrying handle. It has a rubberized grip on the top. I can then spin this over to the side. You can see there is a place for air vent. On the back you've got a sticker with some information on the unit. Over on this last side there is more air input right here to cool the unit. There is AC input right here. You can plug that up to the wall. And over here is the DC input, which we will try out with a solar panel in just a moment. Taking a tour around the Jackery Explorer 240V, it does have a carrying handle. This time it is all plastic. If I look at the display down here, there is a power button, which I will press once to turn it on. This unit was shipped at 28%. I have a light over here. I can press once to turn it on. We've got a strobe, and then it's going to turn off with the next press there. A 12 volt DC over here for cigarette lighter style. Down here we've got a USB A 15 watt max. We've got a 15 watt PD, and then we've got an in and out 100 watt max. So this one will allow you to have an output of 100 watts or an input of 100 watts to charge the unit. We'll be testing this out in a bit for the solar panel. To turn these DC units on, I can press this power button over here. Moving over to the AC side, I have a single 300 watt receptacle, and that can do a 600 watt surge. To turn that on, I press this AC button right here, and the inverter will click on. To turn those off, I'm going to press once over here, and then I need to hold down this power button for a second or two in order to turn the unit off. Moving over here, vents for air. Over here, there's a sticker with information about the unit. On the last side, there is airflow here, and then the AC input down here on this side. The AC output on both of these units is pure sine wave, which means it's ideal for a computer or LED lighting. This light right here is highly sensitive to the pure sine wave output, so I want to see how well it performs on this unit. I'll go ahead and press the power button once to turn this on, and then I'm going to press the AC on to turn the inverter on. And now, when I plug this up, we should see a nice solid light and no flickering. Let's see what we get here. Perfect output. I see no flickering whatsoever on this light. and it is using 214 watts. The 1000 V2 has an AC output of 1500 watts, so I should be able to run this angle grinder no problem. That means you could take this unit to a job site if you needed to. Let's go ahead and plug that up and see if this turns on, and I will check the wattage to see what it's consuming here. It's able to run this at 400 watts continuous. Now this thing will go up to over 1000 watts when it's actually doing work, but no problem running this tool right here. So you should be good to go on the job site. The Explorer 1000 V2 comes with an AC charging cable with a battery of 1070 watt hours. It boasts that it can charge from 0 to 100% in as little as 1 hour. So let's go ahead and plug this up and then see how much wattage we have coming in here to charge this unit. So I'm gonna take the AC cable and plug up right over here, and then we will turn to the display and see what we get here. I've let the power station sit for a minute charging. Let's see what it's doing. At 361 watts, it's gonna take 2.3 hours to fully charge. Checking out the manual, I found that there is an option to use the app to charge this faster. It's called emergency charging mode, but the normal speed is gonna be this 360 watts roughly to charge this at a slow, consistent speed. So keep that in mind. It is capable of charging very quickly, but it recommends that you use this slower charge most of the time. Now the 1000 V2 has something called a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply. That means that if you have this plugged up normally and all of a sudden the power goes out or the power cord gets pulled out, the load that's on the unit will go from bypass power from the grid to using the internal inverter in here. So let's demonstrate that with this same light that we were checking out earlier. Let me go ahead and turn on the AC. So we can see it's charging at 364 watts. If I plug this light up, we can see that it has an output of 214 watts. So now, if I pull the power cord, we should see the light stay on, or maybe just the ever so slightest little blink. Let's give it a try. Yep, one small blink. That right there is the 20 millisecond or less to keep that light going. So for laptops and most computers, the computer will stay on if that plug is pulled. So very cool to see that feature in this power station. The Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 is a nice power station, but what are some practical things that you can do with this unit? Well, it will run a computer just fine. You can run power tools such as an angle grinder or a saw. You can even run a hot plate off of this because most of those are going to run around 1500 watts. So this will be able to cook an egg if you have an emergency situation. Now, battery life, it's got a 1070 watt hour battery inside, which means if you were running something that was 1000 watts, you would consume the battery in approximately an hour. Probably a little less because of the inverter's power consumption, but it's just a good, I guess, calculation for what you can run and the time frame that it will run. All right, one last thing I want to do is show how this power station can charge from a solar panel. So let's head outside and take a look at that. So let's go ahead and start off with the Explorer 1000 V2. This solar panel is pretty awesome. It's a 200 watt, it's called the Solar Saga 200. What makes it so interesting is that it is able to pull in sunshine from both sides. So this is the side of the panel that you have the sun facing, but the back side can also pull in a little bit of power and increase the input into your power station. So let me go ahead and get this totally folded out, and we will plug it up to the 1000 V2 and see what kind of power input we have. I have the solar panel facing the sun, and there is a little bubble up here. If you look into it, you can see where a shadow is facing. I have this almost perfectly in the bullseye to be getting the best sun possible. So let's go ahead and step back here where I have the Explorer 1000 V2. The cable right here is going to attach up here on this side. So I can pull this loose here, and show the spot where it's going to attach. Now, if I follow the cable down, this has the option to charge directly to USB from solar. And I can see there is a little green light on in there to indicate that it does have power. Let's go ahead and plug this up. Either of these DC inputs will work. For some reason, it did not like this little 90-degree adapter. As soon as I plugged it up right here, it came on immediately, and we have got 200 watts. Looks like about 4 hours to fully charge. Now, the Explorer 240V has a much smaller AC output, but it should still be able to run this light, which is good because this is also a pure sine wave output. Let's give it a test to see if this light has any flicker or if it is nice and steady. So once again, I'm going to press the power button and turn the unit on. Very good. Press the AC button to turn on the inverter. And now I can plug this light up and we should see a good output here. Yep, very bright and very stable. Now this light has a 214 watt output, and I'm seeing on the display, yep, 214, and it'll last for 0.2 hours. So definitely a much smaller battery in here, but it is running this with the pure sine wave and doing a fantastic job. Now this power station also has two methods for charging, the solar panel or the AC. So let's go ahead and plug up the AC power cord and see what this unit is going to charge at here. Currently it's at 27% on the battery, 66 watts coming in, 3.8 hours until fully charged. So once again, this unit has a slow charge to it to help maintain the battery life as long as possible. Now let's check out the solar charging for the Jackery Explorer 240V. The solar panel is a 40 watt. It is small and compact. Got some foam in there. So this one will fold out very similar. It is a 4-fold, just like the other one. Now this panel does not have anything on the back to help support it, and so I'm just going to be using the power station itself to prop this up. You probably would want to either hang this out of a car window or put this on the roof of your vehicle in order to charge this, or somehow get it to mount outside on a porch. So we'll just see what we can get out of it. I feel like it probably could use some supports there, even though it's meant to be hung up. So as far as the power cord goes, it's very similar to the other model, except this one has an adapter to go to the PD or the USB Type-C. There's a very similar attachment for the power cord. It's just going to go into this plastic block right here. And that will take the power through the USB Type-C to the front of the unit. And to do that, I'm just going to take this and plug it right in here to the 100 watt max in-out port. Turn the power station on, and now if I hold this up in the sun, we should see some input. This panel is a rather awkward design. So far it's not holding too good here, but if I check, I've got 23 watts coming in. With the current setup not being perfectly in the sun, it's going to take 7 hours to charge. Let's see if I were to get this a lot better into the sun. At 26 watts, that's yep, still 6.5 hours. So it will charge in the sun, but it's very slow unless I can get this panel really properly in the sun. The Explorer 1000 V2 has a 4,000 cycle to reach 70% of its battery life, while the Explorer 240V has a 3,000 cycle to reach 80% of its life. So these two power stations can cycle many times before they are considered to be end of life. So don't worry about that unless you are cycling these things a couple of times a day. You're going to be good for a very long time. Now, which one of these power stations is right for you depends upon how much power you need. So with this one, up to 1,500 watts, So let's say you needed to have a backup so that you can run a hot plate to cook some meals, or maybe run your refrigerator for a couple of hours, or if you need to go on the job site and run an angle grinder or a saw, then this is the one you're going to want right here. Meanwhile, if you just want to have a backup for your laptop or to run a TV and internet box or something for a couple hours during a power outage, then this one is an ideal one for you. Both, of course, can be charged by solar. Now, they take quite a long time, especially if it's a cloudy day. So keep in mind the charge times, and you may want to make sure these are charged before you have an emergency. So both are compact and small enough that you can pack in the vehicle. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to check the links down below in the description for any kind of sales or special events that these power stations are under. And also be sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you want to see more content on the channel. I'm Seth with Land to House, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.